Hey Collective, welcome back. I hope you're having a good day today. So, have you ever started making real significant personal progress? Maybe you started setting boundaries, speaking your truth, or just understanding yourself on a deeper level, only to feel a strange, cold distance growing between you and the people you used to be closest to? It's not just a feeling, it's a real phenomenon. And here's a sad truth that we rarely talk about. When you become truly self-aware, you stop playing the social games everyone else unconsciously depends on. And when you stop playing those games, your growth can feel like a personal attack on them. It's an incredibly lonely and confusing place to be. You're finally doing the work to become healthier and more whole, but suddenly, you're getting feedback that makes you question everything. You start wondering, is it me? Am I the problem? Have I become arrogant or selfish? Why does it feel like your healing is somehow hurting your most important relationships? The quiet accusation in their eyes, or the outright disrespect in conversations, can be disorienting. So today, let's get into the psychological reason this happens, a powerful defense mechanism called projection. I'll give you the tools to handle it without losing your mind or abandoning your progress. By the end of this, you won't just understand why this painful friction is happening. You'll see it as a validation that you're on the right path, and you'll know exactly how to protect your peace while continuing to grow. Okay, let's go. For most of our lives, we're all participants in a complex, unspoken social contract. These aren't rules that are ever said out loud. They're subtle, unconscious agreements we make with our friends, family, and partners. Often, these contracts are built on a fragile system of shared denial. It's a quiet agreement. We agree not to look too closely at certain unhealed parts of ourselves, and in return, they agree not to look too closely at theirs. It's a game of mutual comfort, where everyone's fragile ego is kept safe from uncomfortable truths. This is where the concept of the shadow, or all the parts of ourselves we've pushed down, disowned, or denied, enters the chat. It's the collection of traits and feelings we were taught were unacceptable. Our anger, our vulnerability, our jealousy, our neediness. But it can also include positive traits we were punished for, like our ambition, our creativity, or our assertiveness. We shove these things into the dark corners of our mind because we believe on some level that they make us unlovable or unworthy of acceptance. But the shadow doesn't just go away. It runs the show from behind the scenes, subtly influencing our behavior and most especially our relationships. Many bonds are actually formed on what's called mutual projection. This is where two people unconsciously use each other as a screen to dump their own shadow traits onto. For example, you might see your own unacknowledged anger in your partner's every minor frustration. Or someone who has suppressed their own need for rest might see your moments of relaxation as a sign of profound laziness. It's a messy, unconscious dance where nobody has to take full responsibility for their own internal world. It maintains a certain equilibrium, a comfort zone where no one has to face their own hidden truths. Then you started your self-awareness journey, stepped onto the path of healing. You began looking inward, began doing shadow work, the extremely challenging process of dragging those hidden parts of yourself into the light of your own consciousness. Bravo. I'm proud of you. You started owning your feelings, taking responsibility for your reactions, and understanding your own patterns. You stopped blaming everyone else for how you felt and started asking, what's my part in this? And just like that, without malice or intent, you quit the motherfucking game. You broke the unspoken contract, and that's when shit got weird. You see, when you become self-aware and consciously opt out of the social games, something profound and often disruptive happens. You become a mirror. Your commitment to honesty, your willingness to sit with uncomfortable truths, and your practice of self-love, care, and responsibility all combines to create a highly reflective surface. And when people who refuse to do that inner work, look at you, they don't just see you anymore. They see a reflection of everything they've refused to look at in themselves. And you both feel the misalignment immediately because you're no longer vibrating on the same energetic frequency. Your newfound courage to pursue a dream highlights their fear of failure. Your new boundaries around your time and energy expose their lack of them. Your willingness to take a difficult but necessary risk makes their choice to play it safe feel less like a sensible necessity and more like a decision rooted in fear. Their choice of friends, conversations, and what they care about, like lavish vacations, cars they drive, brands of clothing they wear, or what other people think of them, doesn't connect with your bigger picture thinking of where do I want to be in 5 or 10 years, and what do I need to do now to get there. To someone standing still, your movement feels like a judgment. Your growth feels like an accusation. This is the very heart of psychological projection. And believe me when I say I'm familiar with this enough to call it a superpower of mine. I spent 20 years with a person who did nothing but project his insecurities onto me, hoping I would absorb them for him. Projection is simply a defense mechanism where someone takes their own unacceptable feelings, insecurities, or shadow traits and pins them on someone else. It's the ego's primitive way of protecting itself from the discomfort of self-awareness. Instead of facing their own deep-seated insecurity, it's so much easier to call you arrogant. Instead of owning their unresolved anger, it's far more convenient to label you as aggressive or too intense. When you're on the receiving end of this, it is incredibly confusing and painful. You'll hear things like, "You've changed," said not with celebration, but like you're faking it or in an accusatory way. You might hear, "You think you're better than me," or "I feel attacked," when all you did was state a simple need or observation. It's sad, really. So pay close attention to this. These statements are almost never actually about you. It's the sound of their psychological defenses kicking into high gear. They're not truly mad at you. They're mad at the reflection you're showing them, causing them to psychologically abuse you. You haven't done anything to them. Your very presence, your new way of being, has become a disruption to their carefully managed reality. And I need you to know that discomfort they feel is not your fault. That abuse they're projecting is not your fault. And it is certainly not your responsibility to fix. Now, this whole dynamic gets even more complicated and amplified in group settings. Many social circles and even family units are built on a quiet agreement to think alike, feel alike, and gain validation from each other. The group stays cohesive because everyone's tacitly agreeing to follow the same unwritten rules and craves the approval from the pack. This is known as normative conformity. The desire to fit in, be liked, and be accepted by the group. And if you're anything like me, I've never given two shits about fitting in or caring what the group thinks. I have my own mind and my own thoughts, and am extremely self-aware, so that throws a wrench into their machine. As you build a stronger internal compass and a more solid sense of self, you start making decisions based on your own values, not just what the group expects. You start questioning long-held beliefs instead of just going along with them. This newfound independence can feel like a tremendous threat to a group that runs on conformity. When you stop needing everyone else's approval to feel valid, you accidentally expose how much others still depend on it. Your authenticity can look a lot like rebellion from their perspective. It challenges the very glue holding the group together, so the group may instinctively try to pull you back in, to make you normal again. This is rarely a consciously malicious act. More often, it's a desperate, instinctive scramble to restore the comfortable status quo that you disrupted. You might experience this as subtle teasing, gossip behind your back, or direct comments like, you're not as fun as you used to be. The hard, painful truth is that as you grow, some relationships just naturally have to fall away. This isn't a failure on your part. It's a natural, and yes, deeply painful realignment toward connections that are based on authenticity rather than unspoken agreements. The key is to not fight it and let them go. I know going through a dark night of the soul can feel incredibly isolating, but you're not alone on this path. Everyone's dark night is different, and some of us go through more than one. But you're going to make it. I promise. Like and subscribe for more personal growth content, and watch when you're feeling low. I know it helped me a lot, and that's why I'm here for you now. So what are you supposed to do in the face of all of this? The answer is absolutely to not shrink yourself, dim your light, or abandon your growth just to make other people feel comfortable again. That would be the ultimate betrayal of yourself. The real solution is to shift your perspective and arm yourself with a few new tools. This isn't about trying to change them. It's about fundamentally understanding what's happening so you can navigate it with grace. Because what we're not going to do is create any new negative karma for ourselves. We'll leave that to them. Here are 3 strategies to help you get through it. First, your single most powerful tool is simple awareness. Learn to spot projection when it's happening. It usually feels like an over-the-top, disproportionate emotional reaction or an accusation that just doesn't quite fit the facts of the situation. When you feel that gut punch of a confusing comment, take a mental step back. In your own mind, create a little space and tell yourself, this isn't about me. This is their shit, not mine. This little internal mantra is an act of emotional self-defense. It creates a shield. It allows you to hear what they're saying without absorbing it as your truth. I literally used to say to my ex, quit projecting onto me, until I quit saying anything at all. You're not trying to prove them wrong. You're simply making a conscious choice not to pick up the heavy emotional baggage they're unconsciously trying to hand you. Second, a boundary is not an attack. It's a fundamental act of self-respect and a requirement for any healthy relationship. When someone is projecting onto you, you can respond calmly and firmly. You don't need to be aggressive. Try simple, clear phrases like, I see that differently, or I understand you're upset, but I'm not going to continue this conversation if you keep speaking to me that way. The key is to deliver this boundary with compassion. Try to remember that their reaction is coming from their own pain, their own fear, and their own unhealed wounds. That doesn't make their behavior okay. But holding that perspective allows you to protect your energy without becoming bitter or resentful. You're not responsible for managing their feelings, but you can handle the situation with a calm strength that doesn't add more fuel to the fire. Third, this is probably the most crucial step for your long-term sanity and well-being. As you evolve, you'll naturally start to crave connections with people who celebrate your growth, not people who are threatened by it. You have to actively seek out friends, mentors, or communities of people who are also interested in self-awareness and authentic living. Avoid anyone who is a thief of your joy, energy, money, ideas, peace, or well-being. Find the people who won't just get it. They'll be inspired by your journey, just as you are by theirs. This doesn't mean you have to ceremoniously burn all your old bridges, but if they're already burnt, don't rebuild them. It means you need to intentionally invest your time and energy in relationships that actually nourish and reflect the person you're becoming. The path of self-awareness isn't always a walk in the park filled with sunshine and easy breakthroughs. In fact, if you're doing it right, some discomfort and friction are pretty much guaranteed. This social tension you might be feeling isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign of profound progress. It's the tangible proof that you're breaking free from old limiting patterns and choosing to live a more conscious, authentic life. The freedom that comes from truly knowing yourself, from living by your own internal values, and from building honest, transparent relationships is worth the temporary, albeit sharp, pain of outgrowing the old games and connections that were built upon them. Remember, never dim your light just to make others feel comfortable in their own shadows. This world doesn't need another person playing small to keep the peace. It needs you in your full, authentic, and evolving glory. That discomfort you feel isn't a roadblock. It's a milestone. And that friction is the undeniable proof that you're moving forward. So keep going. And until next time, friends, keep healing. See ya.